Before I get started, I just want to say I hope that everybody had a good Christmas. Now, during the editing process of this video, I realized that I missed recording a couple parts. So unfortunately, you're going to see my present face butting in on my past face. I also want to apologize for the headset. I forgot my mic, and this is the only mic that I have that you can actually hear me on when I upload the video. So sorry. This video is more of a process video rather than a recipe video. I am hoping to show how I built a liqueur from scratch and my thought process through it. This is tailored to my taste, of course. If you are someone who just wants a recipe that they can throw together quick that someone else claims is the best, then there are like, I don't know, 150,000 recipes on the internet. 99% of which don't even use moonshine, and 3/4 of which are on YouTube. I mean, it is apple pie moonshine. But rather than pulling a recipe off the internet, trying it, and if you don't like it, you pull a different recipe and try it. You can follow this process and tailor it to your taste in only one, maybe 2 batches, and be able to duplicate it from batch to batch, year to year. If this video helps anyone to formulate their own liqueur and makes them a better brewer or mixer, then I will consider this entire concept to be a success. Besides, I find it rather fun to play with my liquor. I will be doing a follow-up video to this video in roughly 3 or 4 weeks. I am back at work and I just won't have time till then. But I have some improvements that I'm going to be making and some adjustments. And I have just enough left over to run some side-by-side experiments with flavor and ingredients to make it better next time. Now on with the video. I hope you all enjoy. Worked hard at it. Hi everybody. Welcome to Beer, Wine, and Shine. Today we're making apple pie moonshine. Now I've got 176 ounces of 136 proof white liquor. Now I know that this is not 176 ounces. I have more over there. I have a formula for proofing down liquor. I'm going to use that formula today to figure out how much apple cider to put in my apple pie moonshine. Now, if you were just proofing your shine down with water, you would just use your Proof and Trails hydrometer. Put a little in, you take a test. Put a little more water in, take another test. Or you could use the formula to get you where you want to be and check it to make sure it's right. Well, once you add in sugar, your hydrometers don't work. Your Proof and Trail hydrometer will be inaccurate. There might be an online calculator that calculates that. I think there might be, though. I want to say there is, but you just have to look it up. I just use my formula and put it in, and close enough is good enough for the girls I go with. So the formula that I use is you take your starting ABV divided by desired ABV multiplied by the starting alcohol volume, which in this case would be 176 ounces, minus your starting alcohol volume. Subtract your starting volume to get what's left, and what's left is the liquid that you put into it. That is the formula. Starting ABV is 136 divided by desired ABV, which is going to be 100 proof, multiplied by the starting alcohol volume of 176 ounces minus 176 ounces again. That's going to give you, or give me, 64 ounces that I need to add in to this to make it 100 proof. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got 1 gallon of my favorite apple cider. 64 ounces is half a gallon. So I'm going to put this on the stove, and I'm going to reduce it from 1 gallon to half a gallon, 64 ounces. Okay? Because I want a lot of apple flavor. I'm hoping that this is even going to be enough apple flavor. I would have preferred this to be a little higher in proof. But it is what it is. I got what I got, so that's what I got. Because the higher the alcohol proof, the more apple cider you could put in it, more apple flavor you could put in it. I'm going to get started here. So I'm going to put in some nutmeg. Now, I would prefer to use whole nutmeg and crack it in half and use half that nut. Well, I can't get it. My stores around me don't have it. Whether they don't ever have it or they just don't carry it right now, not sure. So, I'd rather use a whole nutmeg because you can pull it out when it's done. You know what I'm saying? This ground stuff is going to stay in your solution until it falls out, like eventually. And could potentially sit there and keep extracting. So, to combat that, I got one of these little tea bags here. I think it's a tea bag, muslin bag, I don't know, something. It's pretty fine mesh. I don't know if it's fine enough. This is ground. Now, problem with using bags is that they don't get the extraction through your whatever you're brewing as well. Because basically the bag acts as a barrier and it just concentrates inside there. Now you can stir it around and help with some of that, but even using like hop spiders, if you use a hop spider versus not using a hop spider in beer brewing, there's a big difference. But I want to try to extract this nutmeg. I don't know if it's going to work. We're just going to try it and see what happens. So I don't think that's going to work very well because it's already coming like through the bag. We're going to try it anyway. You can't just leave the nutmeg out. So next I'm going to put in 6 allspice berries. So I put in 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, 6 allspice berries. Next, clove. 2 cracked clove. Three cinnamon sticks. So now I got all my spices here. I'm ready to go over to the stove, start heating this stuff. It's going to take a little while. So see you on the flip side. I'm over here at the stove. I got my fire on. Now I'm not going to put my spices in yet. I'm going to reduce this down. And then at the end, when it's about there, I'm going to throw in my spices for 20 to 30 minutes at a low simmer, covered. I'm going to cover it, low simmer, for 20 to 30 minutes. And then I'm going to let it sit there for a couple hours. All right. I've got my apple cider over there reducing. Now, again, this recipe is 176 ounces of 136 proof white liquor. 1 gallon of my favorite apple cider reduced to half a gallon. 64 ounces is half a gallon. Put in 2 teaspoons of nutmeg in this little bag that's not going to hold it probably. It's already kind of leaking out of it. You can just throw the nutmeg in there. If you can get it, the preferred way is to use a whole nutmeg, crack it in half, and use half of it. Or you can use the whole thing, don't matter. 6 allspice berries, 3 cinnamon, and 2 clove. Now, this recipe is not going to be all that sweet, I hope. A lot of people add in like buku's amounts of sugar. Couple cups of white sugar and a cup and a half of brown sugar. And I don't really like sweet drinks. I like the perception of sweet, but I don't like my lips sticking together when I'm trying to drink my liquor. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down to half a gallon. And I better get over there. Whenever I mix this, I'll taste it. If I think it needs more sugar, I'll add more sugar. If I think it needs more apple, if it needs more apple, I'll probably cut up some apples and macerate it. I might put an apple in each jar. If it needs more sugar, I'll probably use brown sugar. Make a little simple syrup out of it, highly concentrated. I'm aiming for about 100 proof. If it gets down to 95 or 90, I guess I'd still be okay with that. I'm really hoping that it doesn't go down. I don't have to take it down to 80. It just depends on how much apple I'm going to be getting through. This is a brand new recipe. I've never done it. I just come up with it, and this particular recipe I've never done. I'm learning. But that's how I do things a lot, is to taste. A lot of people out there will have a set recipe. They'll have tried it. They know what they're doing. That's a great way to do it. Other people that really know what they're doing and have made wines 100,000 times can come up with new recipes, and that's okay because they have experience. They know exactly what to put in it, how much is too much of things, that kind of thing. I'm a little bit different. I feel like whenever you follow a recipe, if you don't like it, you might not want to try it again. You know what I mean? So the way I do things, kind of a bit more winging it, because unless I have a specific recipe, like this is the way I just love this stuff. Most of the time I do things to where I can add in more later if I need to, because I am tailoring it to my taste. And I think that's a good way for other people that their profiles are going to be completely different than mine. You know, I like a little higher alcohol content, and I don't really like a lot of sweetness. But as far as my beverages go, I don't even put sugar in my tea. This way you can kind of learn how to do it to your taste. And if you take notes, if it turns out just absolutely delicious, you can do a little bit less of the guesswork next time until you get that recipe that you really, really like. So, hope that it kind of explains what I'm trying to accomplish here and the why I do things the way I do them when I'm building a recipe and when I'm experimenting. And I don't mind putting those experimentations out there for y'all because that's how everybody learns. Anyway, I'm just babbling on now, so
I forgot to show it here, but when I drained the apple cider concentrate into the gallon jug from my pot on the stove, I used a funnel with a fine mesh screen in it to capture all the spices. I thought it important to state that at this time, there are no spices in my concentrate.
all right, we're back. So what we got going on here is I got my apple cider. It's reduced. It's still warm, but that's okay. I don't mind a little warm. Um, Now, I don't want to just dump this in there and hope for the best. I want to see if my recipe is good. Do I need to add more spices? Is it too sweet? Is it too strong of apple? Do I maybe need to add more apple cider? Do I need to reduce it more? Um, you know, I want to try it before I just go ahead and just mix it all. As a test, I'm going to do 200 milliliters. Okay. We're going to deal with milliliters. Now, this formula that I gave you earlier works no matter what you're dealing with, as long as you're using the same measurement throughout the formula, throughout um, across the formula. So if you're dealing with gallons, as long as your numbers are gallons all the way, you can do ounces, you can do cups, you can do, this time I'm doing milliliters, doing the same formula whenever I do ounces. It's just I do use milliliter measurements instead of ounces. Tells you how many milliliters. So I already did the math. I'm just going to pour some out here. Just so I can get to it better. Okay. We're going to set this over here so we hopefully don't, lose all of our hard work. And 72 milliliters. Now this is a 20 milliliter deal. Now I haven't cleared it or anything. There's 20. 40. 60. 72. And maybe I want it a little stronger. Maybe I want to, maybe I only want to mix up a gallon of it instead of my, it basically, I was going to mention this earlier, 172 ounces is basically 1 pint shy of a gallon and a half. Just going to give her a good shake. She's kind of light colored. Kind of wouldn't mind it being a little darker. But, I can throw in a couple spices in here. I can throw in my cinnamon stick in there. Oh, man. That's definitely going to need more cider for sure. Okay. That's definitely going to need some more apple. So now what I'm going to do is I just calculated it up. I'm going to drop this down from 100 proof to 90 proof. Okay. So that's 102 ounces. I need to add 30 more. I'm sorry, milliliters. We're dealing with milliliters. So I need to add 30 more milliliters to this. That's 20. There's 30. If I need to take it all the way down to 80 to make it taste good, I will. What that tells me is that I should, next time I do this recipe, I need to use more apple cider and reduce it farther. That way I have more flavor and more sugar in it. Okay. So this isn't going to be as strong as I wanted it, but that's okay. That's what the learning process is about. And that's what I'm about. I'm about just learning, you know. Oh, man. Oh, that's getting there. That's getting there. I think I'm going to take it down to 85. What do we have in here? 72, then 102. Now I need to go to 120. So I need 18. Is that right? Is my math right? Y'all tell me if my math is right. Okay. Now this should be about 85 proof. Okay. I'm not very good with the bubble thing. I do that to shake it up. I'm not trying to pretend like I know what I'm doing. I think that's good right there at 85. I think that's where we're going to leave it, right there at 85.
As I stated before, I do not like overly sweet things, but this is your beverage. So if you like it to be sweeter, then this is the time I would add sugar. I would also start with brown sugar because it is going to give character that white sugar will not bring to the table. Keep track of your measurements and adjust your test batch accordingly. So start small. Keep adding till you like it, but take your notes so next year you can add it to the boil.
So next time I wanted it at 100 proof. So next time I'll take 2 gallons and probably reduce it down to a gallon and a half. That way I've got a stronger concentration of flavor that I'm mixing. The alcohol just overrides it until it gets down to about 90. It could probably use a little more spices. If the jars that are going to be drank quick, I'll probably throw in a allspice berry and a cinnamon stick, maybe 2 allspice berries and a cinnamon stick. The ones that'll sit up on the shelf, I probably won't do anything with until I, run out of a jar, and then that way I can let it macerate in there for 24 hours or so, And thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked it. I think it's pretty good. It could be better, but for first try on the recipe, next year I'll perfect it a little bit. I'll do a little better. I'll take notes. I'll look at my notes, but it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. I have had off the shelf apple pie that was a lot worse than this. I think this is just I think it's okay. So, like I said, I've had stuff off the shelf that was a lot worse, so I'm happy with it. So, now I have 176 ounces of white liquor. Because I need to take it down to 85 instead of 100, I'm not going to be able to use the entire 176 ounces. So what I'm going to do is do some math and figure out how much I'm going to measure this, find exactly how much I have, and then I'll just play with the math until I get the numbers right, and then I'll measure the liquor, and then put in the rest of this, and we should be good.
I actually ended up going ahead and taking this down to 80%. The final ratio for this jar was 200 milliliters of alcohol and 140 milliliters of apple cider concentrate. Now that I had that ratio to figure out how much liquor to add to the concentrate to get the same results, I just did my formula in sort of reverse. I measured the concentrate, which came out to 68 ounces. First, I tried my formula with 150 ounces of liquor, but that would require more concentrate than I had. So I then plugged in 136 proof divided by 80 proof times 100 ounces minus 100 ounces. That told me to use 70 ounces of cider in 100 ounces of liquor. I only had 68 ounces. But like I said before, close enough is good enough for the girls I go with. Okay, so what do I actually think of my recipe? I think it's a good start. Not too sweet, obviously, but it could use some improvements. It is missing a little something something. The spices could have been stronger. I could have used twice as much cinnamon as what I did. However, if you just leave a stick in each jar, that will help to improve that greatly. After talking to some friends and a few fellow brewers, we all agree that it is missing some brightness. It has that baked or cooked apple flavor, almost like, I don't know, somewhere between like a crust and cooked spiced apple. I mean, it has that cooked flavor, it has that baked flavor, that deep cooked apple and crust. It has that. But it is missing that real apple flavor, the brightness that fresh apple brings to the table. A lot of recipes I see use some apple juice as well as apple cider. Now, at the time of formulating and gathering information for this recipe, I didn't understand why they would even bother with store bought apple juice when they already had apple cider, which, in my professional opinion, is way better. Well, apple juice is processed, it is strained. Its flavor profile is completely different than that of apple cider. It's brighter. I think maybe that is what it's missing. So in the next video, I will be adjusting my jars one by one with different things, running a side-by-side comparison to determine the best ratio and or ingredients to achieve the flavor profile that I'm looking for. Not going to spoil it here on how I actually plan on accomplishing that at this stage of the recipe. So you just have to come back and see what I can do in the next video.
Thanks for watching. Give it a shot. I have a visitor. It's a cat. He's under my house, and he's raising all kinds of ruckus. And he is a talker. He gets under. He won't come to you, but he will just sit under there and just make you feel all kinds of 3 shades of horrible because he just sounds like he's miserable. Likes to hang out under the house, and complain about it. I don't know. He comes around once in a while. It's not going to work. Yeah, this is going to blow over like a fart in the wind. Whoa, not that many. Whoops. You don't get all crazy now. I'll cut up some apples and macerate it. I told you I should have got over there. I should have got over there a little quicker than what I did. You never seen a fat boy move so fast, have you? I might have to edit that out. It boiled over on me. Yeah, apple cider will foam up. It did. You wouldn't be able to tell by as big as I am, but I really don't like overly sweet things unless it's ice cream or cobbler. I kind of like those things.
Man, I got a fucking hairdo, don't I? God damn. You're a great YouTuber.